Hey YouTube, Kiritwi here, bringing you all an update to my Evil Hero Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for March 2024. Wanted to update the Evil Hero deck with the release of Battles of Legends Chapter 1. We got more ready access to a good number of different cards that I would say were more pricier for the Evil Hero deck. Actual cards like Adusted Gold and Malicious Bane aren't too expensive. It's some of the other additional hero cards that you need in the deck that really help to build up the price of it, but still wanted to go for as pure of an Evil Hero variant as I could go for. So still happy with the results of the deck. So we'll go ahead and get started and show you what I have for the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the Evil Hero monsters, I do run 3 copies of Evil Hero Adusted Gold. You can discard this card to add 1 Dark Fusion or 1 card that specifically lists Dark Fusion in its text from your deck to your hand, except for Evil Hero Adusted Gold. You can only use this effect of Evil Hero Adusted Gold once per turn, and you cannot attack unless you control a fusion monster. So being a powerhouse of a monster in and of itself, it's mostly just used for your search power for your Dark Fusion, being the main spell card, to go into your Evil Hero Fusion cards, but also being able to search out a wide variety of the other spells that we run in the deck, since they all have Dark Fusion. And its text just make it an added benefit for you to be able to search out a wide variety of the cards in the deck. So a definite 3 of for sure. We also run the 2 copies of Evil Hero Malicious Edge. If your opponent controls a monster, you can tribute this card with 1 face-up tribute. If it attacks a defense monster, inflict piercing battle damage. You use Malicious Edge in the requirement for summoning out Evil Hero Malicious Fiend, being a pretty powerhouse boss monster in the main deck as well, and also one of the requirements needed if we were to summon out our Evil Hero Malicious Bane onto the field, being the level 5 or higher monster. The same for Evil Hero Sinister Necrom, which we also run 2 copies of. You can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon 1 Evil Hero monster from your hand or deck, except for Sinister Necrom. You can only use this effect once per turn, but if we use Sinister Necrom for a fusion play, then we have the banish option from the graveyard to be able to grab some of our other hero monsters that are evil from the deck to the field. Since this is more of a pure Evil Hero variant, I'm also running 1 copy of Evil Hero Wildheart, Clayman, Burstinatrix, and Avion in the deck as well. So we have some options to go into their fusion counterparts as well in the deck with the setup of those hero monsters as well. Depending on the fusion you want to go for, they still use Dark Fusion to summon them out, but then you just choose the variety of hero monsters you want to summon out in the deck as well. I don't have the Thunder Giant variant, that's why Sparkman isn't in the deck, but with this, selection here of these 4 monsters, you can choose which heroes you want, and then in turn the hero monsters you want in the extra deck as well. I just found the 2 that I run to be a little more powerful than the other ones that we rely on. And with a more hero search, 3 copies of Elemental Hero Stratos. Just when it's summoned, you can activate one of these effects. You can add 1 hero monster from your deck to your hand, or destroy spell traps on the field up to the number of hero monsters you control, except this card. So being able to search out all the different cards means we can use Stratos to then in turn search out Adusted Gold, and then have more searches from there with Adusted Gold search power. And for more hero special summon, I also run 3 copies of Vision Hero Faris and the 1 copy of Increase. These are in here just for more of a hero engine to summon out, because one of the better link monsters to set up on the field is Extra Hero Infernal Devicer. If it's link summoned, being able to reveal Hero Fusion in our extra deck and add up to 2 of the fusion materials, this can help to search out the normal monsters for the summon from the deck, or even our setup. So just using the Vision Hero engine as a way to get monsters out onto the field to then be able to use for the link play while keeping our normal summon open for other cards like Elemental Hero Stratos. And then lastly, for the main deck monsters, 2 copies of Nibiru. This is one of the hand trap spots, but also running Nibiru because Evil Hero Dark Gaia needs 1 Fiend monster and 1 Rock monster to make. An original attack becomes the combined original attack of the materials used for it. So with Nibiru being 3,000 attack on its own, that's a pretty big powerhouse buff to use in the deck while still having a card that can at least tribute your opponent's resources on the field if they were to summon out more monsters than 5 in 1 turn. For the spells, I run 3 copies of Dark Fusion. Now, the thing about this is it is searchable with Adusted Gold, so if you wanted more of an option to go into some of the generic hero monsters we also run in the deck, you could replace one of these cards for Polymerization, and then take down one of the Nibirus for a Vision Hero Vion to run with the engine to have a Polymerization search, but that's more player preference for that spot. But with Dark Fusion, you fusion summon 1 Fiend Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. Your opponent cannot target it with card effects this turn. turn. So more protection for that evil hero monster you summon out as well. But other than that, it's just a basic fusion spell to use to summon out our evil hero monsters. The same with Dark Calling, being almost like the miracle fusion for evil heroes, but you use monsters from your hand or graveyard, so you don't use any from the field. It's all the resources in your hand, where miracle fusion was from the field and hand and graveyard, not hand. The Dark Calling uses those resources from the hand and not on the field. So if you have them in your hand, you can at least use them for the banished play to summon out your evil hero monster. And then also one copy of Evil Mind and one copy of Supreme King's Castle, both searchable off of the option of a Dusted Gold as well. If you control a Fiend monster, you activate it based on the number of monsters in your opponent's graveyard. The more they have, the more search power setup you have as well for your Evil Mind, and Supreme King's Castle being a field spell that you can fusion summon monsters that must be special summoned with Dark Fusion with effects other than Dark Fusion, which we have one other spot in the deck, which we'll get to in just a bit. But for more search, 3 copies of Emergency Call to search out any of the elemental hero monsters we run in the deck. Same with A Hero Lives, just being able to grab Stratos off of a special summon as well, since we don't really use life points for much else in the deck. And also 3 copies of Unexpected Die. Aside from Wildheart, we do have a good number of normal monsters just to be able to special summon out. Normally with Wildheart, if I go into Infernal Devicer, I will at least use this monster to reveal the option for Wild Cyclone, and then I can search out Avion and Wildheart with that card. And then also the 2 copies of Super Polymerization with the field spell Supreme King's Castle. I can at least use Super Polymerization to then also go into some evil hero monsters of my choice, and maybe even use some of my opponent's resources as well, especially if I give them the Nibiru token. I can then use it myself for one of those fusion plays also, with the last of the spells being 1 copy of Call by the Grave and 1 Reinforcements of the Army to finish off the main deck. And now moving on to the extra deck. If I had a second copy, I would run maybe 2 Malicious Bane. I can just take out the 1 additional copy of Malicious Fiend that I'm running in the extra deck as well. But with Malicious Bane, you need 1 evil hero monster and 1 level 5 or higher monster. It must be special summoned with Dark Fusion, cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, so a pretty big boss monster to get rid of on the field. You can destroy all monsters your opponent controls during the main phase with attack less than or equal to this card's. Also, it gains 200 attack for each monster destroyed this way. And you cannot declare attack for the rest of this turn except with hero monsters. It's really just a powerhouse that is hard to get rid of on the field, and then can also just destroy your opponent's own resources as well. I also run the 2 copies of the Malicious Fiend. Now, Malicious Bane can be bumped up to 2 if you want to reduce this copy to 1, needing Malicious Edge and 1 level 6 or higher Fiend monster to summon this card out. So it entails you to use Malicious Edge and maybe another evil hero monster you have. It must be special summoned with Dark Fusion. And then also, during your opponent's battle phase, all monsters they control are changed to attack position, and each one of them must attack this card if able. Having a 3,500 attack point monster that they can just swing into means they'll be taking some pretty big damage on top of that while they crash into Malicious Fiend. I also run 2 copies of Evil Hero Dark Gaia, having the attack boost for our monster, and then also being able to switch all defense monsters to attack means that if you have a high attack point gain thanks to Dark Gaia, and if you use Nibiru for it, all the easier, you can hit for some pretty big attacks against your opponent's monsters as well. Now, for the more generic ones, I have the 1 Infernal Sniper and the 1 Wild Cyclone. If you wanted the Avion and Burstinatrix fusion to include in the deck as well, you can just drop Dark Gaia down to a 1-of count to add that additionally into the deck. But I like both of these effects more, and I find them to be fun and a lot more consistent in the deck to be able to grab the fusion materials you need with cards like Unexpected Die, also A Hero Lives, and Infernal Devicer in the deck. You really don't have the specifics or the problem of running into the situation where you have, 2 hero monsters and not the right ones for either one of these fusions. And for more of the Super Polymerization plays, the 1 copy of Gaia, Nova Master, and Ascura Dao to use with our Earth, Dark, and Fire monsters we run in the deck. A good variety of them, including some of the evil hero monsters we run as well. And lastly, for the fusions, to go with Super Polymerization, more for grabbing from our opponent's monsters, 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, with our Link monsters being the 2 copies of Extra Hero Infernal Devicer. Once again, you just need 2 heroes to make this card, and then you have the option to reveal the Hero Fusion monster in your X deck, and then grab the 2 materials off of it, which then you have to use with your Dark Fusion. And then lastly, the 1 Wonder Driver for more fusion search, and the 1 Dark Charmer as another way just to grab our opponent's resources. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, a hero setup can really help with your initial plays. And as I mentioned before as well, being able to use cards like Vision Hero Ferris, if you have the needed hero monsters in your hand, being able to set up cards like Necrom off of a discard of Ferris to special summon this card from your hand, and then being able to place the other Vision Hero in our Spell and Trap card zone, then to tribute out and summon out, increase onto the field. You can then use the Sinister Necrom Banish on top of that to grab your evil hero of choice, so then you can grab your Malicious Edge also, and then from there also have your normal summons. So you can normal summon out your elemental hero Stratos. Stratos can then go for your Dusted Gold, discarding a Dusted Gold to search out your Dark Fusion. Then from there you can go into a Link 2 using the increase and the Stratos to summon out the Infernal Devicer onto the field. You can use Infernal Devicer as well to then add those different name fusion monsters, and you're locked into hero monsters for the rest of the turn, but that's fine. So then you'll reveal the hero of choice you want to go for, searching for both of the needed materials for those cards from your deck to your hand as well. So then you have the Dark Fusion searched off the Dusted Gold as well. But also, additionally, one thing you can remember if you want to continue your plays, if you have any additional spells in your hand, like let's say you have your Dark Calling, you can use the Dark Calling first, activating this spell, banishing the 2 hero monsters, going for the Wild Cyclone, and then being able to use the Dark Fusion you searched off it to use these 2 monsters to go up into bigger and bigger hero monsters. Depending on which one you want to go for, you do have the option for both the Malicious Bane or the Malicious Fiend, depending on which one you want to use to fuse the 2 together. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, I always like updating the Evil Hero deck. It's definitely one of my favorites. I wouldn't say it's my top favorite, but still an interesting one because it definitely has a lot of variety on how you can create the deck with all the other different hero monsters. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.